The night she lost her job, Emily didn't know whether to cry, scream, or laugh at the absurdity of it all. She had worked double shifts at that little roadside diner for 3 years, barely making enough to cover rent and keep the lights on in her tiny apartment. Yet in a single moment, with her apron still tied around her waist and sweat clinging to her forehead, her life flipped upside down. The reason? She had served a group of bikers who rode in late one evening, leather jackets creaking as they settled into the corner booth, their laughter filling the diner. Most people in town avoided them. Big bearded men on roaring motorcycles, tattoos crawling up their arms like wild vines, gave people plenty of reasons to whisper. The manager hated them, said they scared away respectable customers. But Emily, always seeing people as people, had treated them with kindness, offering refills, fresh pie, and that warm smile that seemed to soften even the hardest ice. By the time they left, they tipped her generously, thanking her like old friends. But her manager had been watching, arms crossed, face stiff with disapproval. The next morning, Emily was called into his office. His words were sharp, quick, and final. "We don't need your kind of judgment here, serving people who ruin our reputation. You're fired." She stood there frozen, apron still in her hand, her world crumbling. With rent due in 5 days and not a penny in savings, she left that diner with tears threatening to spill, feeling small. When Emily returned home after a long, sleepless night, her phone buzzed with a message from a number she didn't recognize. It read simply, "Come to the diner parking lot at noon. We need to talk. Jax." She froze, recognizing the name from the receipt one of the bikers had signed. Curiosity battled with fear, but something in her gut told her to go. At noon, she walked toward the diner lot, her heart pounding, unsure of what she would find. And there they were, those same bikers, lined up with their polished machines glistening under the sun. Jax, the tallest of them, stepped forward. He looked rough, intimidating even, but his eyes carried a gentleness she hadn't noticed the night before. "I heard what happened," he said, voice low. "You got fired 'cause of us. That ain't right." Emily shifted uncomfortably, shrugging. "It's not your fault. I'll figure something out." But Jax shook his head firmly. "No, you treated us like humans when no one else does. That matters, and now it's our turn to stand up for you." Emily blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" "Come with us," Jack said, motioning to his bike. We've got something to show you." Her instincts screamed to run, but then she saw the sincerity in his expression. Against every ounce of caution, she climbed onto the back of his bike. The engine roared to life and they sped off down winding roads, the wind whipping her hair, fear giving way to a strange, exhilarating freedom. After miles of countryside, they stopped at a large warehouse. The doors creaked open, revealing not some gang hideout like she feared, but a community. Families sat at long tables sharing food. Kids played in the corner. Shelves of donated clothes and supplies lined the walls. "This," Jack said, leading her inside, "is where we put our time when we're not on the road." People think we're trouble, but what we really do is help folks who've been forgotten. Hungry families, veterans, kids who don't got much. You see, Emily, you saw us for who we really are, and that means something. Tears stung her eyes as she looked around. They weren't what the world painted them to be. They were protectors, helpers, outcasts who made a home for the broken. And in that moment, for the first time since being fired, she didn't feel hopeless. She felt like she belonged. That evening, when they rode her back to town, Jax handed her an envelope. Inside was more cash than she had ever seen at once. "We pitched in," he said simply. "It's not charity, it's a thank you. But more than that, we'd like you to help us run things here. You've got a heart we can trust." Emily's breath caught in her throat. From losing everything to being offered a chance at a new purpose, it was almost too much to take in. She smiled, fighting back tears, and whispered, "Yes." By the end of that week, the same small-town folks who had whispered about the bikers saw something different. Emily, once a struggling waitress, now working side by side with them, organizing food drives, setting up shelters, creating hope where there had been none. Word spread quickly, and suddenly those who had judged began to join, bringing donations, volunteering time. The movement grew, and Emily became its heartbeat. The diner had fired her for serving the wrong people, but that one act of kindness had opened a door to something greater than she could have ever imagined. And so the shock wasn't just that Emily found help when she needed it most. It was that she discovered her true purpose. She realized that sometimes life takes everything from you only to give back something far more powerful. Because kindness never dies. It comes back stronger than you expect from the most unexpected places.